hello. Hello, hello everybody. वेरी गुड इवनिंग एंड अ वार्म वेलकम टू ऑल द ब्यूटीफुल एस्पिरेंट्स. आप सभी खूबसूरत लोगों का स्वागत है चैनल पर जिसका नाम है ऑलिव बोर्ड. फाइन. So everything is clear, I hope. Sound, video quality and all, everything is fine. So day before yesterday on Monday we had a session of compound interest. So basic session of compound interest, we took a basic and average questions of compound interest. So today we will be taking some more important and relevant questions of compound interest. Apart from this, there are some DI attached with these questions, attached with this compound interest file. So we will be seeing some missing DI based on CI and SI. Fine. So basically, compound interest as a whole will be asked as a in case of arithmetic questions also, or else in case in the form of caselets or DI. So in this today's session, we will be taking some important questions of compound interest. Other than this, we will be taking some DI based questions, previous year DI based question. So everything is fine. So this channel is particularly dedicated for RBI, Nabard and SEBI examinations. So all the regulatory bodies examinations. So let's start our session. So the very first question is a question based on installments on compound interest. Fine. Question says a sum is paid back in 2 annual installments. So I'm putting back there is a particular sum which is to be paid back in 2 annual installments of rupees 17,640 each. मतलब एक पैसा है जिसको मैं 2 इंस्टॉलमेंट या 2 किस्त में दे रहा हूं, ठीक है. And the value of each installment is 17,640. Fine. Rate of compound interest given, the rate of interest is 5%, which is basically nothing but 1 by 20, right? The fraction value of 5% is 1 by 20. So we need to calculate the sum borrowed. What was the sum which I had borrowed? So I am paying it in 2 yearly installment. ठीक है, एक पैसा है, I borrowed a certain sum, मैं उससे 2 installment में pay back कर रहा हूँ. So I'm giving back in 2 installment and the value of each installment is mentioned, right? 5% means on a sum of rupees 100 we will be giving an interest of 5 rupees, or we can just say on a sum of rupees 20 I am paying an interest of rupees 1, isn't it? So if I am purchasing something on installment, then the ratio of principal to installment will become what? 20:21. Fine. If you want something on installment, you have to pay something extra. So on a sum of rupees 20, you are paying an interest of rupees 1. That means the particular sum will be 20 and you have to pay 21 as installment. For the next year in compound interest, this will be successive, or in geometric progression the value will get square. For the next year, it will be 400 and 441. Value gets square. In compound interest, from the rate of interest, every year the rate of interest increases successively or in geometric progression. For 2 years, it will be the ratio of 400 and 441. Question has mentioned it clearly कि the installment is same. That means basically दोनों साल के installment same है. The installment for each year being same, so let's make this installment equal. So by multiplying by 21, I am making it 441. So why I am doing this? Because the installment for each year being same. So the ratio becomes what? The principal to that of installment become what? This is 440, ratio 441, and this is 400 and 441. So basically, my principal what I have borrowed was 820, and I'm paying an total installment of 882. According to the question, the value of each installment is 17,640. According to my diagram, each installment is 441. If 441 is representing 17,640, that means each unit will be representing what? This is 4 times, so this 1 unit will be 40. Why I am connecting this 441 with 17,640? Because this is the value of each installment according to my diagram, which as per the question it's mentioned 17,640. So 1 unit will be 40. The moment I got 1 unit, it will be 40. The principal borrowed was 820 times of 40. 008. So 32,800. That means option number A. The value of sum will be 32,800. Is it clear? So in the question of installment in CI, we need to connect just by seeing the rate of interest. See, how come we can do this orally? 5% is 1 by 20, 20 and 21. The sum which was 20, in installment we will be getting it at 21. For the next year it's getting square. For the third year we'll be getting cube. This is how the compound interest works. With the same common ratio, it gets on increasing exponentially. So the value of each installment was same, that is 17,640. So I'm making it equal. This 441 is the value of each installment, which according to question is 17,640. So 1 unit will be 40, and 40 into 820 is what? 32,800. Is it clear, bacha? Is it clear? Comment whether it's clear or not. We have the same question. Let's do it faster. 5%, because this is the same question. 5% is 1 by 20, same rate of interest. So that means the ratio of principal to that of installment. This is not interest, this is installment. That means is 20 and 21. For the next year, the value will become 441. We have the same generic values over here only because the rate of interest in this case is also same. Had it been 10%, 10% is 1 by 10, the ratio would have been 10 and 11. For the next year, it would have been 100 and 121. Sir, it is repaying it in 2 equal installments. Sir, make this installment wala part equal. So I'm multiplying this by 21 and this by 1. So make it at 441 equal. So the ratio of principal to that of installment becomes what? 440 and 441, and this is 400 and 441. So this is the principal. A loan of rupees 12,300, that means this is not the each installment. In the previous question, each installment was given. So that means this particular value 820 is the loan, is the proper sum which I had borrowed. It is represented as 12,300. So what should be the value of each installment? So the value of each installment will be 441. Is it clear? Is it clear, bacha? Comment whether it's clear or not. Fine. So sir, sir, why you are connecting this by 820? Because this was the sum borrowed, 12,300. So principal value is 820, which according to the question this. So this 0 and 0 will get eliminated, and this is definitely ending with 15. So this is 15 times. So this will particular value will be 441 times of 15. Go via unit place and digit sum. So the answer will be 6615 because 5 is there in the unit place. So we can just say the value of each installment is 6615. So this is the process of installment. Clear ना? बहुत बढ़िया यार. सर मैं दिवाकर माँ को दिखा रहा हूँ आपका वीडियो और बता रहा हूँ यही मेरे सर हैं. बहुत सुंदर भैया. आपकी माता श्री को मेरा सत सत नमन प्रणाम, है ना. और मौका मिलेंगे तो जरूर मिलेंगे आपसे. ठीक है. वी हैव डीआई ऑल्सो. फटाफट इस क्वेश्चन को देखो. द लीस्ट नंबर ऑफ कंप्लीट ईयर्स. व्हाट इज द लीस्ट नंबर ऑफ कंप्लीट ईयर इन विच द सम ऑफ मनी पुट एट 20% कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट विल बी बिकमिंग मोर देन डबल ऑफ इटसेल्फ. कितने साल में ये पैसा डबल से ज्यादा हो जाएगा. ठीक है ना. इन व्हाट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम द मनी इज बिकमिंग मोर देन डबल ऑफ इटसेल्फ. ओके. 20%. व्हाट इज 20%? 20% विल बी नथिंग बट 1/5, isn't it? That means the ratio of principal to amount will be the sum of rupees 5 will become 6 after a year. You will be getting an interest of rupees 1, right? So the money hasn't become double itself. It has to be double of itself. So in 1 year it is not becoming double. In the next year the value will become square. That means the ratio of principal to that of amount is going to be different. That is 25 and 36. Still this 25 is not becoming more than 50. In the third year the value will get cubed. That is 125 and 216. And still this particular value is not becoming double because 125 hasn't become 250 yet. And what for the fourth year? This will be 125 into 5. That is 5 times of 4 will be 625. The moment you make 6 times of 4, 6 to the power 4 or 216 into 4 will be what? 216 times of 6. This is 1296. 1296. Just look at this. You deposited a sum of rupees 625 which become 1296. Double of 625 is what? Double of 625 is 1250. So it is exceeding 1250. It is exceeding 1250. That means on a tenure of 4 years, any sum, whatever sum it may be, any sum if put at compound interest, it will become double of itself. More than double of itself. Put any sum at 20% rate of interest, it will become more than double of itself in 4 years. What if a certain sum is put at 33.33% rate of interest? The ratio will be 1/3. That means the 3 rupees becomes 4. In next year it will be 9 and 16. In next year the money has not become more than double of itself. 9 has not crossed 18. Next year the ratio of principal to that of amount will be 27 and 64. Just look at this. Double of 27 is just 54. It has crossed double of itself. That means for 33.33% rate of interest, the answer will be 3 years. More the rate of interest will be, more the interest will be generated, right? So the answer will be 4 years for this particular question. A very beautiful question. A very beautiful question for exam point of view. We'll have DI questions also. We'll have DI based question also. A sum of rupees 3903 is divided into 2 parts. Okay, so we have 3903 as the sum. This particular sum is divided into 2 parts at a rate of 4% rate of interest. 4% is nothing but 1/25. Clear? And that too at compound interest. Fine. This for 7 years and 9 years. This particular person is given for 7 years and he is given for 9 years. After some time, the amount of both the parts are same. So the amount is same, right? Find the sum of each part. Fine. Sir, what is the formula? Amount A equals P into 1 plus R by 100 to the power n, right? So for one person amount is 7 years and for the other person amount is 9 years. Principal, I am equating the amount both sides. Principal is P1 and principal is P2. So this 9 and 7 will get eliminated entirely and 2 will be left out. left over here. That means this tenure don't matter. Sir, whatever amount this particular person is getting in 7 years, the same amount this person will be getting in 9 years. भाई 7 साल में से जितना पैसा मिल रहा है 9 साल में इसे उतना ही पैसा मिलना चाहिए. ये क्वेश्चंस का मेन थीम है. And according to the formula, we can just evaluate this entire thing is eliminated and this 2 is being left out. This 2 is nothing but the age gap. So this particular person has just 7 years in hand and this particular person is having 9 years. That means he is having 2 years extra. That means he is supposed to get interest for 2 years more as compared to this particular person. So how come this amount is going to be same? If I put equal principal in both the account, then interest of this particular person will definitely be more than that of interest of this particular person. Reason big, he has 2 years more as compared to this person. So how come the amount will be more? No, amount of this particular person will be more. So what to do if this particular person is getting 2 year extra interest? अगर इससे interest ज़्यादा मिल रहा है, so you do one thing, put principal extra in this account, make him win with the principal. He is getting win by the compound interest. He is getting 2 years more, so he will be getting interest more. So if he is getting interest more, give principal more to this person only because I just want equal amount. What is the rate of interest? 4%. This particular fellow is getting 4% more interest. 4% is 1 by 25. So what I am doing is I am giving 4% more principal over here, that is 26. 4% is 1 by 25. As compared to this person, I am giving 4% more interest. In case of 2 years, the value is going to square. Successively, it will increase. So for the next year, it will be, the ratio will be 676 and 625. So this should be the ratio of principals. This should be the ratio of principal. Divide the entire sum in this particular ratio. You do not have to follow the formula method. Fine. What I am doing is, again, sir, he has 7 years in hand and he is having 9 years. This particular person is having 2 years extra. That means he will be gaining 2 years more interest. So if he is gaining 2 years more interest, put 2 year more principal in the account of this particular person. He is getting 4% more interest. Give 4% more principal in his account. Things will be balanced later on. Fine. So divide this entire sum, that is 3903, in 676 and 625. If you add this value, this is nothing but 1301, right? So 1301 point is equivalent to 3903. So each point will be equivalent to 3 units. So this is 625 into 3. So 1875 should be deposited in his account, and 676 into 3, 1928 in his account. So this will be the respective principal values of both the person. This will be the respective principal values of both the person. I guess this will be 2028. Fine. Similar question is over here. No, this is a bit different. क्लियर है भाइयों? A certain sum of money lent at certain rate of compound interest grows to 1.44 times its value in 2 years. Okay, in 2 years that particular sum is becoming 1.44 times more. Okay, if the same sum is lent at simple interest at the same rate, in how many years would it double itself? ठीक है, सिंपल इंटरेस्ट में ये पैसा कितने साल में डबल हो जाएगा, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन. फाइन. सो देयर इज अ पर्टिकुलर सम which is becoming 1.44 times of itself. Let's say the principal is x, it is becoming x into 1.44 times in 2 years, on a span of 2 years. So we can just say the ratio will be 100 and 144, isn't it? If you eliminate this point and this 100 will come. So this is the ratio in 2 years. So basically there is a particular rate of interest according to which rupees 100 becomes 144 in 2 years. We are here to calculate the rate of interest. How to calculate rate of interest in compound interest? So rate of interest is always per annum. What is the main definition of compound interest? When interest is calculated on amount. So for the amount of second year, amount of first year will act as a principal. So this is whatever the interest you have generated over here for this particular money, this is not considered as the principal in compound interest. The definition of principal in compound interest is different. In compound interest, amount of the previous year act as a principal for the next year. We don't have the amount of first year. We won't be calculating principal on this value. So what to do? So make a square root, because from first year to second year I am moving with making it square. So from second year to first year, make square root. So for first year I am making a root value. This is root of 10 and this is root of 12. Now here we have a gap of 1 year. So there is a particular rate of interest in which in just 1 year the rupees 10 grows up to rupees 12. So what is the interest calculated? That is 2 rupees. So find the rate of interest. So 2 by 10 times of 100. That is 20%. So at 20% rate of interest, the money at compound interest will be growing by 1.44 times of itself. So the rate of interest is 20%. Now question says, if the same sum, same particular value is lent at same rate of interest, in how many years would it double itself? Double means when principal is equal to interest, the money is getting doubled. 100 become 200. So let's say the interest is 100, principal will be 100, rate of interest is 20%, tenure you need to find by 100. 0000 eliminated 20 times of 5. So at a time period of 5 years, you will be having the same result. You will be getting the result. Clear, bacha? Is it clear? Why did I made a square root? Because in compound interest, let's say rate of interest is 16.2 by 3%. How it works? 16.2 by 3% is 1 by 6. So the ratio of principal to amount will be 6 and 7 for first year. Rupees 6 becomes 7 in after 1 year. The ratio will be 36:49 for the second year. In the third year, it will become 216 and 343 like this. So from first year to second year, I am making it square. So to get revert of itself, from second year to first year, I will be making the square root. So this was the ratio for second year. So first year it will be 10 and 12. Interest is 2 on 10. That means 20% will be the rate of interest. And this particular rate of interest, in what period of time the money is getting double of itself. Let's say the principal is 100. Interest also become 100. Hence the money will get double. 20% times of 100. जय गंदेचा, क्या कंफ्यूजन है बच्चा बताओ? Will clear your doubts. Okay, a sum of money is put at compound interest. This is previous year question. A sum of money is put at compound interest for 2 years at 20% rate per annum. It would fetch rupees 482 more if the interest were payable half yearly. Then it will payable half yearly. As compared to yearly, you are getting 482 more. Find the particular sum. Okay. देखो भाई, ये ना 2 साल के लिए 20% पर ईयरली दे दिया. कह रहा अगर मैं ईयरली नहीं देता, अगर मैं से सेमी एनुअली दे देता तो मुझे पैसा पहले से ज्यादा मिलता. ये तो पता है मुझे, ठीक है. जब भी रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ईयरली से हाफ ईयरली होता है, whenever the rate of interest become half yearly from yearly, you will be getting more money because effective rate of interest will increase. Clear? So if the money is put at yearly, what will happen? What is the effective rate? So for the first year it's 20%, For the next year, it's again 20%. And the property of compound interest is interest calculated on interest. So 20% of 20% will be 4%. So we can just say the effective rate of compound interest for 2 years is 44%. At 20%, it will become 44% in 2 years. 20% rate of interest for 2 years, compound interest will be 44. Now, next is half yearly or semi-annually. We just know that in half yearly rate will half. So whatever sum we are investing, that is that 20% will become half, that is at 10%. Now we need to calculate 10%. But the tenure is same, that is 2 years. So each branches will be of 6 months each, because for 2 years this is 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. Now it will be calculated on half yearly basis. For the first 6 months, the rate of interest is 10%, 10%, 10% and 10%, isn't it? So this is equal to 40%. Now compound interest will effectively start from second year, because for the first year CI and SI both are same. So 10% of 10% is 1%. Clear? Before the second year we have just first year, so 10% 10% is 1%. Now before the third year, just look at the interest which is already being originated. Don't look at the third year, because third year is running. Before the third year, first and second year is being cleared. First year 10%, second year 11%, that means 21%, and 21%, 10% will be 2.1%. Now come back to fourth year. Come back to the fourth tree. Before the fourth tree, how much interest is being already occurred? This is 10, 20, 30, 32, 33.1. Okay, 33.1, 33.1, 33.1, 10% will be 3.31, 3.31. So this is basically the effective interest of 20% when compounded semi-annually for 2 years. This is the entire interest diagram. So there has to be a deviation of interest. Interest में कुछ तो अंतर होगा दोस्त. यहाँ 44 है, यहाँ क्या आया देखो, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10% of 10% is 1%. Before the third year we have 21, 21, 10% will be 2.1. Before the fourth branch we have what? 33.1, 33.1 to 10% will be 3.31. Now whatever here it is 4%. Let's see what extra I am getting. So this is 44. So 40 eliminated, 43 eliminated, 44 eliminated. These all things are eliminated. I eliminated this part. So what is being left out? See, 2.1 is left out, plus 2.1 is left out, plus 0.31 is left out. That means 2.41%. So this is the difference. How you calculated the difference? I eliminated this 44 from here. How did I eliminate 44? Add all these values and eliminate 44 from these values. Or else, sir, 44, this is 40, 41, 41 plus 3 is 44 eliminated. What is being left out? 2.1 and 0.31. That is 2.1 and 0.31 is 2.41. So this is the extra interest I am getting. And this particular interest is represented as 482 rupees. 482. So 1% will be what? 1% will be 200. 2.4% is 482. 1% will be 200. So principal value will be 200 times of 100. That is 20,000. Hence 20,000 will be the principal value. Clear? 20,000 will be the principal value. The principal value will be 20,000. This is the same question, repeated question. ये क्या कह रहा है भाई? Vijay obtains a loan of rupees 64,000, clear, against a fixed deposit. If the rate of interest is 2.5 paise per rupee per annum, calculate the compound interest payable after 3 years. What is the amount of interest he is paying after 3 years? Okay. Sir, what is the rate of interest? So rate of interest is 2.5 paise per rupee. So 2.5 paise per rupee. Per rupee means 100 paisa. 2.5 paise on 100 paisa times of 100. 2.5 paise per rupee. Per rupee is 100 paisa. So that means the rate of interest is 2.5%. At 2.5% rate of interest, you need to calculate the interest. You need to calculate the interest for 3 years. That's it. You have to draw the interest for 3 years. That's what you have to do. So this is basically easy. You can comment in the homework form. This is important. In previous question, we have the principal, we have the rate. You just need the component. That's it. This is important. This is a important question. We will be moving to DI now. This is a beautiful question. Let's see who is giving. A certain sum is lent out at certain rate of simple interest and compound interest calculated annually. Fine. It is noticed that difference between CI and SI for 3 years is 3.2 times the difference between CI and SI for 2 years. Okay. So what is the diagram for 2 years? So for 2 years, the diagram of CI works like this. On a sum of rupees principal, let R be the rate of interest. This is the simple interest, and interest calculated on interest. And what about the third 3 years? If you extend this diagram further, I'm making it some different diagram. This will be A, and A. Rate of interest being calculated on A, this is B. Again, rate of interest calculated on this particular A, again, this is B. On this A, B, and C. Fine. So triple A, triple B, C is the diagram for 3 years. So basically, this particular line is the SI, and this entire circular form is the compound. So what is the difference between CI and SI? Sir, for the first year, CI and SI is same, but from the next year, from the second year, there is a difference. And this particular value is nothing. This particular value is the difference of CI and SI. And in 3 years, this will be the difference between CI and SI. Question says, the CI-SI for 3 years means this particular value is 3.2 times the difference between CI-SI for this particular 2 years. In 2 years, we are getting the difference of CI-SI as B, and in 3 years, I am getting the difference of CI-SI as 3B plus C. It is 3.2 times. 3.2 times means what? 3.2 times means 32 by 10 times, isn't it? Or you can solve it and write it as 16 by 5 times. So basically, or you can just put it as 32 or 10, 32 by 10 only. So basically what the question is saying, if this is 10, if this is 10, if for 2 years, the difference is 10, this is 3.2 times, that means 32, isn't it? This is basically the difference of CI-SI for 2 years. 3.2 times of 10 is what? 32. So basically this is 10 and B is 10. This particular B will be 10, 10 and 10. This entire should be 32. So this particular value will be 2. Now this C, the value of 2 is being calculated on B. For this C, this particular B is the principal. For this is the principal, and for A, this is the deposited sum is the principal. So the rate of interest will be rupees 2 being calculated on B, rupees 2 being calculated on 10 times of 100. So basically at 20% rate of interest, puts anything at 20% rate of interest, the difference of CI-SI for 3 years will be 3.2 times the difference of CI and SI for 2 years. We do have the same question. One more question is there. Fine. So 20%. Similar question is this. This is the similar question. Sir, again, the ratio of difference between compound interest and simple interest for 3 years to the difference between CI and SI for 2 years is 23 and 7. So this is let's say I'm drawing diagram for 2 year now, and this is 3 year. This is A, this is B, B and C. Fine. Sir, this is the CISI diagram for difference for 2 year, and this entire box is the difference of CISI for 3 years. This particular ratio is given as, this is 7 and this is 23. 23 ratio is 7 is given, but this is for 3 years and 2 year. This is 3 year and this is 2 year. So basically this is 23 and this is 7. So if this is 7, this particular B will be 7, 7 and 7. What is being left out? This is 21, so 2 will be left out. So we can just say this 2 rupees is accumulated as a part of B. For this C, B act as a principal, for B, A as a principal, and for this A, P will be acting as a principal. So the rate of interest will be rupees 2 on 7 times of 100, and 2 by 7 is nothing but 28.4 by 7%. 28.4 by 7% will be the rate of interest. Clear, bacha? 28.4 by 7% will be the rate of interest. This is installment I have already taught you. This is the DI. Check out this DI. So this is a missing DI. The table shows below the amount invested by different person. So there are 6 different person. This is the particular rate of interest. Some of the rate of interest percent is missing. This is the tenure. Some of the tenures are missing. This is the principal and this is the amount. Fine. So let's have the question now. If nothing is mentioned, it is simple interest. For compound interest, the examiner has to put the term compound interest. Okay. Rate of interest received by Arun and Amit. We do have Arun over here and we have Amit over here. Arun और अमित का जो rate of interest है वो किस ratio में है? 2 और 3 in 2:3. Fine. Arun is having a rate of interest of 6%. So connect this with 6%. So this is 3 times. So basically the rate of interest of Amit will be 9%. Fine. So Amit rate of interest was not known. Now it is being known. This is 9%. Find in how many years money invested by Amit will be double with same rate of interest. At same rate of interest, this same rate of interest, in how many years the money will become double of itself. Whatever money he is depositing, in what period of time it will become double. When a particular sum is getting double, in that case principal is equivalent to interest. When a interest becomes equivalent to principal, जब interest principal के बराबर हो जाएगा, तब पैसा डबल हो जाएगा, and that moment the principal will become double. So let's say the interest is 1 rupee, the principal will also be 1 rupee. We need not have to calculate the principal, so I am not using this particular data. Interest is 1, principal is 1. Rate of interest we know for this particular person it's 9%. Tenure we don't know. So tenure is what? 100 by 9, and 100 by 9 is nothing but 11.11 year. Or 11.1 by 9 year. So 11.11 year will be the tenure. Is it clear? Clear, bacha party? Sir, rate of interest was in the ratio of 2 and 3. For Arun, the rate of interest was 6%. So this is 3 times. So the rate of interest for Amit will be 9%. This particular value was not given. So this is 9% now. And this, if this is 9%, question has asked in what period of time the money is getting double. Did it mention about the CI or SI? No. If it's not mentioned, it is clearly a simple interest. For compound interest, the examiner need to mention it. So the interest is what? The interest is 1 rupee on principal 1. From how come I get 1 rupee? I have considered that this principal as 1 rupee. if a money is becoming double, तो उस condition में principal और interest equal होता है. So principal become equal to that of interest. 1 rupee is the principal, 1 rupee is the interest. Rate of interest is 9%. Fine, clear? If the difference between the interest received by Ankit and Saurav is rupees 4200, concerned about Ankit and Saurav. Interest is given, principal is given. Fine, tenure is not known. If the difference between the interest received by Ankit and Saurav is 4200 and Ankit invested his money for double the time period for Saurav, double the time period for Saurav. If he is invested for 3 years, this particular person has invested for 2 years, for which Saurav invested his money. Then find the amount received by Ankit. What is the amount received by Ankit? What is the amount received by Ankit? Okay. Basically the question says difference of interest is given, that is 4200. So interest of Ankit minus of interest of Saurav is nothing but 4200. For Ankit, the principal is 20,000. Rate of interest is 8% and tenure is 2T. For Saurav, the principal is 30,000. Rate of interest is 6%. Tenure is T years. And this particular difference is 4200. 0000 eliminated, 0000 gets eliminated. See, 00 common, and this 00 will get eliminated. Take 100 common and gets eliminated. 2 into 8 is 16 into 2 is 32T. 32T minus of 6 into 3 is 18T is equals 42. Clear? So basically 14T is equals 42. So the value of T becomes 3 years. So for Saurav, tenure is 3 years, and for this person, tenure is 6 years. Question has asked, find the amount received by Ankit. Is it a compound interest? It's not mentioned compound interest. So basically this is a question of simple interest. So what is the amount Ankit is receiving? Now Ankit is putting something at 8% for 6 years, isn't it? That means 48% will be the interest he will be receiving, right? At 8% rate of interest for 6 years, what will be the interest? This is simple interest. 8% for each year. For 6 years, you will be getting 48% as interest, but we are more concerned about the amount. So what is the amount? So amount will be 148% of the money you have deposited. This particular value, this particular person has deposited 20,000. The sum of rupees 20,000 at 8% rate of interest in 6 years will become 148% of itself, because 48% will be the interest added to this, right? So if you are adding 48%, so directly you can do it 148%. So this will be what percentage is eliminated, 00 will be there. 8 times of 2 is 16, 296, right? 29600. Is it clear? Comment whether it's clear or not. This particular DI was clear or not. Comment, bacha party, comment. Clear? So difference of interest was given. Difference of interest was 4200 of Ankit and Saurav. Ankit had an interest of this. Saurav is having an interest of this. Difference is this and this have a difference of 4200. I solved it. Tenure is 3 years. 3 years for this particular person. Twice the time, that means 6 years. 6 into 8 is the 48% is the interest. That means the amount will be 148%. बहुत बढ़िया ऋषिका, बहुत अच्छा मनीषा. See, compound interest is mentioned over here. So this is basically very calculative. See, in examination, whenever you find this type of DI questions, calculative, so much of calculator, better to skip. This is one of the best method of attempting the question. See, if a particular questions is having a very lengthy calculation, the best approach, if you're not learning this process, then it's not possible that you are clearing the examination, because in this DI you will be having 5 questions, right? And with 5 questions, maybe one of the question will be very tough. Fine, one of the questions tough. Looking at this options, look at the option, we won't be able to apply the digital sum and all also. Let's skip this question and go for the next question. If we'll have a time, then we'll discuss. We'll tell you the method of solving that particular question. This you should inherit. This you should inherit whenever the particular question is having lots of calculation. The best method is to skip and earn 2 or 3 other question in place of the time invested in this particular tough question. So Anita, talking about Anita, rate of interest and principal is given, nothing else. Oh sorry, Anita, no? This is Anita. Tenure is given and principal is given. If the interest received by Anita is 20% of the sum invested by her, fine, then find how much more interest, how much more money as interest she would have earned if she had invested this entire sum at compound interest. Basically, she invested for, before at simple interest. So interest is 20% of the sum. So interest I equals 20% of the sum. Let's consider the principal is 100. Fine. So this is the principal, this is the sum. What is the tenure for Anita? That is 2 years. Rate of interest is not known. Fine. So I'm considering this principal is as 100. I'm considering this principal as 100 because here we need to calculate rate of interest. Though the principal of Anita is given 60,000, even you can use 60,000 also. 20% of 60,000 will be 12,000. Write 12,000 here, write 60,000 here. Fine. That will be of no use. That is going to get, that will eliminate, right? 20% means 120. 20% means 5 and 1. Fine. So whatever you are considering, you will be getting what? The ratio is 5 and 1. If you are considering 12,000 and 60,000, 12,000 will eliminate 60,000 5 times. So no need of writing the 60,000. We are not here to calculate the value. So 5 into 2 is 10, 10, 10 eliminated. So the rate of interest is 10%. Now question has demanded, what is the more money, extra money she will be getting if she might have invested this particular sum for compound interest? Sir, rate of interest is 20%. If I am depositing this entire sum for 20% at 10%, so the simple interest for first year is 10%, simple interest for second year is 10%. So this basically simple interest for 2 years is 20%. But what about the compound interest? 10% of 10% is 1%. So effective rate of compound interest is 21%. So effectively, if she would have deposited this entire sum at compound interest, she might have got extra. How much extra? 1% extra. Whatever sum she might have put, she would have got 1% extra. Had she deposited at 10%, she would have got 20%. But if she might have deposited it at compound interest, she might have got 1% extra, that is 21%. So whatever money she is depositing 60,000, she will be getting 1% extra. 1% of 60,000 will be 600. So she will be getting 600 more as compared to simple interest. So 600 will be the answer, option number A. मैं ये कह रहा हूं आप लोगों को कि आप लोगों ने 20% डिपॉजिट किया, 20% पे डिपॉजिट किया, 100 रुपए है, 20% पे डिपॉजिट किया मतलब 20 डिपॉजिट किया, इसका मतलब रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट 10% आ गया. अब अगर मैं यही पैसा एसआई पे डिपॉजिट ना करके सीआई पे करता तो क्या होता? सर अगर आप एसआई पे कर रहे हो ना तो आपको पता होगा ये बात कि एसआई पर 2 साल का साधारण ब्याज कितना होता है, 20%। लेकिन गुरु अगर आपने साधारण ब्याज पे ना करके अगर आपने चक्रवृद्धि ब्याज पे किया तो आपको ये बात पता होना चाहिए कि चक्रवृद्धि ब्याज साधारण ब्याज के कंपेयर में 1 साल के बाद हमेशा ज्यादा होता है, फुर्र से भागता है रेलगाड़ी की तरह। 2 साल का साधारण 20, 2 साल का कंपाउंड क्या होगा, 10, 10, 20 और 21, है ना। ऐसे कर ले। कई लोग पता क्या है, कई धुरंधर इसको सक्सेसिव तरीके से भी कर सकते हैं। सर 10% पहले साल का, 10% अगले साल का, और 10 का 10% कितना होगा सर, 1% होगा। तो गुरु मैं ये बात बोल सकता हूं कि 21% आ जाएगा चक्रवृद्धि ब्याज का इफेक्टिव इंटरेस्ट। तो अगर ये लड़की, क्या नाम है, अनीता, अगर इसने साधारण ब्याज पे ना करके चक्रवृद्धि ब्याज पे किया होता तो उसको 1% ज्यादा मिलता। कितना मिलता, 1% ज्यादा। तो 60,000 बेचारी जमा कर रही है, उससे 1% का बेनिफिट हो जाता, मतलब 600 रुपए ज्यादा, तो एक ड्रेस खरीद लेती है अपने लिए। ठीक है, ये था हिंदी में। क्लियर है भाई। तो ये आप लोग का क्वेश्चन था। Interest received by Anita is 75 more than interest received by Piku. हे अनीता, तुम्हें पीकू के कंपेयर में इतने रुपए ज्यादा मिल रहा है, डिफरेंस ऑफ इंटरेस्ट है ना। एंड द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट रिसीव्ड बाय अनीता इज 2% मोर देन द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट रिसीव्ड बाय अरुण। अरुण का 2%, 6% है, अनीता इज 2% मोर, दैट मीन्स 2% मोर ऑफ दिस वैल्यू विल बी 8%। 6% plus 2%, that is 8%. Then find the interest rate received by Piku. Piku का rate of interest बताना है. So what basically what is given? Difference of interest of Anita and Piku is given. For Piku, whatever things are not known, rate of interest is not known. See, Anita is getting a certain interest. How much interest does Anita getting? Anita. Hey Anita, तुम्हें interest कितना मिला? Anita is getting what? 8% for 2 years. That is 16% interest. 16% of what? 16% of the deposited sum. Is it a compound? No, it is simple. Anita has deposited 60,000. So 60,000, 16% will be 16 times of 6 is 96, 9600. 16 times of 6 is 96. So this is the amount of interest which Anita is getting. Hey Anita, तुम्हें कितना मिल रहा है भाई? तुम्हें मिल रहा है 9600. What Piku is getting? So Anita is getting 75 more. 75 more as compared to Piku. So what Piku is getting? So Piku is getting what? Piku का interest कितना होगा? Piku's interest will be 9600 minus of what? 75. This is the interest. So 175 is having a difference of 25. This is 0 and this is 1. 2. 2025. So this is the interest of Piku. So Piku is getting this much of interest. Fine. For Piku, we know the rate of tenure is 3 years. Principal is this much. What is the rate of interest? Interest is 2025. Principal for Piku will be 45,000. Rate of interest is not known. Tenure for Piku is 3 years upon 100. Third, khatam. This is 45 square, so 45 times of 10, and this is 45 times of 45. This is 3 times of 15. So hence the rate of interest by 15 by 10%, and 15 by 10% is nothing but 1.5%. So 1.5% is the rate of interest for Piku. Clear बच्चा पार्टी? Clear? So this was your questions on DI and compound interest, है ना? So we had a questions of quant, compound interest question, and DI based on quant, compound interest. Fine. So meet you tomorrow. Till then, meet you on next Monday with a new topic. Till then, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.